What's up, guys? We are back with another Marvel Legends review, digging back into that Super Skrull wave, and we're taking a look at maybe the contender for best figure in this wave after my slight gripes with Doctor Doom. We're taking a look at She-Hulk today. So she, of course, comes in the standard Marvel Legends packaging. You've got the figure in the window, Hulk logo down there on the bottom. You've got some artwork on this side, and then the back of the package has product shots, lineup for the wave, and then a little bit of a write-up. So let's do it. Let's pull her out and take a look. And here she is out of the package, our She-Hulk figure. And honestly, I'm going to go ahead and just get it out of the way and say that this is without a doubt the breakout figure of this wave for me. This is far and away a better figure than I ever anticipated it being. And this is just a great She-Hulk, a character that I'm not all that attached to. I have pretty good familiarity with older versions of She-Hulk. I'm not familiar with this one. This is definitely a more modern take. As far as I know, this is more like Civil War II and beyond era, where she goes gray and gets a little more savage looking in some ways. So I'm not too familiar with this, and I'm certain that we will get a standard green one down the road, because that's what we do with the Legends these days. But this is an awesome figure, and she has got some articulation that we have wanted to see on female figures for a long time now. It's not exactly what we've been asking for, but it's probably what we really need. So let's take a look, see how she moves around. She does move around really well, honestly. So to start with, you've got a head that can look up a little bit. She does have a lot of hair, so as is the case with most female figures, the hair is going to get in the way. She can look down really far, though, like no issues there. And then, of course, you've got rotation side to side as usual. You've got arms that can go out at the shoulders. They rotate at the shoulders. You've got a bicep swivel. You don't have, technically speaking, double jointed elbows. But look at the range on these things. They are much better than your standard female figure because of how the cut is made and how deep it goes. And it just works incredibly well. And of course, those elbows still rotate. So you've got a single but very wide-reaching elbow, and then rotation. You've got hinges, and you've got rotation at the wrist. You've got a diaphragm cut, so she goes side to side really well. She goes backwards really well. The shirt hides the gap in her chest a little bit, and then she goes forwards pretty good. She goes backwards better than forwards, which is a little bit unfortunate, but it does work pretty well. No waist twist on her, though, which is pretty standard for a female figure, but I wish we could have gotten that. It would have elevated her a little bit even higher. Legs go out pretty far, and she kicks forward all the way. She kicks back a little bit. You've got a thigh cut, of course. You've got your double jointed knees, and she goes back pretty far. There is, of course, no boot cut on a female figure, as is pretty much always the case. And then you've got rocker, and you've got hinges down at those ankles, and they go pretty far forward, and they go really far back. Mine are a little tight, but they don't seem to have any real issues. They're just tighter than normal. So she is really standard in terms of the overall articulation scheme, but the elbows, it's all about the elbows on this figure. They are really well done, and they just move so much better than your standard female figure. But beyond that, this figure is really well done in the looks department. Again, this is a more modern-ish take on She-Hulk, just based on the gray scheme, and then all of the green stuff that's coming out of her, like the radiation, I would assume, some sort of power manifestation on her. So she is a little bit more modern, but this is still, I mean, it's obvious that this is a She-Hulk. She just happens to be a gray version. And I do really, really like this figure. She is bigger than normal. She's about 7 inches tall. She's still quite dwarfed by the current comic Hulks that we have, but she is bigger than a lot of other figures. I'll do a size comparison here shortly. But this figure is just really nicely done. I like just about everything that we've got going on here. She does, of course, move really well, but she looks the part. I like the tattered shirt. It kind of ties in with the other Hulks that we've gotten with their floating shirt piece. This, of course, is not coming off. And then you've got the tattered pants, which are done really well. The jean actually has a texture to it, so it actually feels like, you know, there's some denim there. And then you've got all the rips and the cuts and the tears. And then you've got all this little green, you know, kind of like irradiation that's popping out, you know, as she's like kind of going nuts with her powers. And it's done up in a really neon green, so it really pops against the rest of the color palette on this figure. Against that gray, it really stands out. And she just looks good, and she's really imposing, and she's really big. That's really what it comes down to. She is quite large for a female figure, and she's a lot bigger than a lot of normal figures. Of course, She-Hulk should have some size, and they didn't really skimp on that, and I'm really happy that they didn't, because that would have absolutely killed this figure. And like I said, she's the breakout star of the wave for me. I'm really, really satisfied with just about everything when it comes to how she moves, and specifically how she looks. And a major reason for that is this head sculpt. Now, I will say that maybe one hope that I could have had for this figure is that she would have come with a second head sculpt that maybe had a more neutral hair and a more neutral face, but this really plays into what they're going for based on what I understand about what's going on with this figure. She's very much kind of powered up. She's going a little bit, kind of crazy, really letting loose. So it works. And I think the face and the head on this figure is really well done. It very much comes across as a She-Hulk figure. You've got those pupilless green eyes, which I definitely love. More of that green striations on her face. The teeth and the lips are really well done. And then you've got this windswept hair, which works really well. Of course, you do have to play with that when it comes into your posing, just based on how you're going to pose her up. But it works really well. It looks good with all of that green dry brushing in there to bring out the sculpt. It's just a nice, savage, rough, menacing, kind of no-holds-barred style She-Hulk. It works really well for what they're going for with this particular iteration of the character. And she does come with a couple accessories, not including BAF stuff. So you've got an extra set of hands with this figure. That's it. It's not a whole lot. You do have a set of open palm, slightly gripping hands. She doesn't come with anything to grip, but you can grapple her with someone or throw something in her hands or have her grab another figure or something like that. So it gives you a little bit of a way to change her up just slightly. She doesn't come with a smaller version of the crushed pipe, which I wish she did now that I think about that. That would have been amazing. But she does at least come with something, so she's not just always there with clenched fists. And then real quick, for a size comparison, like I mentioned, here she is with two different figures to give you an idea of how she scales with different types of figures. So you've got a standard female figure in the Spider-Woman figure, and you can see that She-Hulk absolutely dwarfs her in just about every respect. And then on the flip side of that, you've got the recent Grey Hulk Retro Wave figure, and you can see that she is dwarfed by him. So you've got an idea of what she does with other female figures, other standard legends, and you can see what she does next to larger figures that she definitely kind of goes with. So she is still quite small in comparison to these new Hulks, but I think it works really well, and it gives you an idea of just what you can do and how you can inject her into your displays. So yeah, this is, like I said, this is the breakout figure of the wave for me. She is my favorite by far. I haven't reviewed them all as of this particular figure, as of this video, but I've gone through them, and this one is just doing it for me on every level. Size, paint, sculpt, just the overall look and feel of this figure, added articulation in that elbow area really elevates this figure into something a little bit special simply because it's a bigger female Marvel Legends. I really, really dig this. I know we've got a She-Hulk not too long ago in that A-Force box set, but that thing is not in any way a modern style figure. So it's nice to get a very updated, current Legend style figure, and I think they really knocked it out of the park on this one. I never thought I would have been looking forward to getting a second She-Hulk, and come on, we know they're going to give us a green one at some point. That's just what they do, and I'm very much looking forward to getting another She-Hulk if they go with this body, with this scheme. I think it'll be a fantastic figure. So don't sleep on this one. If you're even remotely interested, I would suggest checking her out, because I don't expect she's going to be warming pegs once people realize just how good she is. So that's going to do it for this look at the Marvel Legends She-Hulk figure. Let me know what you guys think. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and share, and until next time.